doesn't work with this particular team, then it'll never work with no team ever constructed.
Mike D'Antoni is licking his chops seeing the job that Steve Nash is doing. And he's thinking, boy, if this team continues to struggle, this could be my team. Because you talk about the players being temperamental.
I think Cy gets rid of everybody and goes and does what most owners do. Well, I had the offensive guys. Let me go sign some defensive guys, and we'll go through a period of that.
They should have gave Jock Vaughn the job. What a crock of shit. I mean, This guy's lost out there. And I specifically saw this. When they cut it to 3, I saw him flag Nash down to call the timeout. And they came back in. They put all the starters back in, and they made a quick run. They pushed it right back to 9 or 10. We have to talk about Steve Nash, dude. He is lost out there. When he calls timeout, he actually signals timeout. Like most coaches just scream at the ref and call it. Like he's signaling it silently. He looks like Ben McAdoo out there.
Listen. I want you to understand why I like Nash. I like Nash because he's the only one. Not Sean Marks, not Jacques Vaughn. None of them can really say anything. And even now, today, you saw it. Kyrie was coaching in the timeout. It was a timeout.
Yeah, I don't like that from him.
It was a timeout, and he was standing in the middle of the huddle coaching the team.
Yeah, and those guys were probably like, dude, where the fuck were you for the last 2 weeks? That's an eye-rolling thing. He should, Kyrie lacks his self-awareness. You just came back from a mysterious absence. Just shut the fuck up and play.
Tremendous. You don't understand how much I appreciate this guy, and we're going all over the place. Let's.
That's fine.
First, we'll go back to Nash. We'll go back to Nash after we deal with Kyrie. I think this kid, he was just ridiculous. He even looked better on defense today. He played better defense than Harden to me. But
pound for pound, he's the best scorer in the NBA. He just doesn't have the size,
right?
Durant has. So it's naturally harder for him. But he put on the easiest 17-point fourth quarter I've ever seen in my life.
Monstrous.
He won the game for them.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's no question that he won the game, but it scares me to see Harden get out of his way. And my problem with him is exactly what you said.
That's a good thing.
We have to talk about that as well. But the thing with Kyrie, my trouble with him is the fact that he's developed he has so many fans, and he's like an island unto himself. It's like a hot girl that puts out one pic that a lot of people retweet, and now she's got 60,000 followers. You can't say anything to her. You can't even be like, hey.
He lacks self-awareness. Some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth, you're like, dude, just give the whole hum answer. What are you talking about, bro?
And live your life and step off. But it's
dude. I'm sitting in my car because it's too cold out to smoke a cigarette, so I could smoke cigarettes on this podcast and that podcast. He played in the goddamn game tonight. Chill the fuck out, man.
Listen. It's not about that. It's about being able to. We're planning in our entire future. The entire team future is betting on this dude.
Yeah,
and
he is incredible though. That's the thing.
That's the thing. It's you bet on that dude. You bet on that guy. But at the same time, I think a lot of people just brush this over. But he didn't go to work for 7 days, and when he came in, he said, "I really just didn't feel like it. A lot of stuff going on in the world." He said, a lot of stuff was going on. I had things on my mind, and I just couldn't do it.
This sounds like Twitter Eve, where, you're trying
What
to
am I saying that's wrong? Do you want me to read the quote? I'm going to pull the quote.
I call you out on the inflammatory things you say. That's inflammatory, saying, I didn't feel like showing up. That's not what you trivialized what he said. And those are the things I call you out about on Twitter.
You know what? I'm going to read what he said.
Watch it. Listen to it.
I've watched it so many times. I watched it too many times.
He didn't look like a little kid though, didn't he? Like when you scold your son, he probably has that.
Yeah,
posture.
he folds his arms.
I don't know. You know.
No,
but you said something that you don't like that James is deferring to him. I disagree. I think that's good. First off, he's a better scorer. He can score on all three levels, and he does it incredible. And he's just incredible at scoring the basketball. Like he can't lead your team because like he's like a weird guy to fit around, but he's perfect in this role.
Yep. I before I address Harden, I want to make sure that we're clear on Kyrie.
And don't forget Nash because he sucks.
No, we're going to talk about Nash. Before we do the three things, we're going to end it out on Nash. So with Kyrie, right? We've bet the house on Kyrie. And a lot of people, because we brush his stuff under the rug, we forget that the first message he wrote where he called that wasn't even the first, that was the second. The second thing he did where he called the reporters peons and I don't talk to peons, and he refused to make his availabilities.
He called them pawns, not peons.
He met peons. He doesn't know. This is a guy who basically did no classes at Duke.
No, come on. Do you think he's just dumb and he used the wrong word?
Yes. He thinks he's J. Cole.
That's an assumption.
No, I listened to the man talk. The man believed that the earth was flat. He believed that. Yeah. And when he told everybody that he believed that, he looked at the camera and was like, you fools, how dare you question me on this?
And you know, what's interesting is like coming to the Nets, like a lot of the talk was that like Durant was kind of weird too. Like he's really not weird at all. Like he's like a normal, like cool dude. Like what's his thing with Kyrie and him? Like what does he like about Kyrie?
You know what it is? Durant is a basketball fiend. You understand? Yeah. And I think you could be, if Adolf Hitler could hoop like Kyrie, I think he'd find a way to just try to make friends. If you ever notice, like even when they were on the podcast,
people like, listen, what he does on his own time is his business.
It's his thing. He just wants to play beautiful basketball and make basketball history with this dude. So like Kyrie says the crazy post. Durant says, "Go ahead, King." You know, you tell him, like, he cheers him on, and he's trying to meet him where he is to get this.
He's probably like, he's like Howard Stern's version of Beetlejuice for him. He's like, this guy's weird as hell, but like he's awesome at basketball.
He's good content.
He's part of the Rat Pack. He's part of Durant's Rat Pack.
No, exactly. I think they don't have anything really in common. You know,
they're just both awesome.
They're just both. He just loves. He probably didn't even want to talk to Kyrie in the beginning because he's a little weird. Durant is cool. Durant is like
this. He was probably like strategically like Kyrie will take the heat off me with the press. I'm gonna just go out there and quietly drop 30 a night.
Right, and this is the last thing on Kyrie. Did you know? Have you noticed that he's a little bit not as happy on the bench? It's like It's like He's like, Kevin is my best friend, not yours, James.
He's like, James is missing.
Yeah, it's like he's not as happy.
Is it me? He'd be like, is it me or does James look chubby? Like little digs.
James was at the strip club last night, everybody.
Calling him out at the buffet.
James, no carbs.
Yeah, he is fat though. Harden is fat.
He's fat. That's.
He's not like he's fat and like it's.
And he's
my
slow
brother
too.
He was like, they should shut him down for 2 weeks and just exercise his ass.
It's
not that crazy.
It's not a bad idea. Just learn plays, watch film, and just do intermittent fasting.
One more thing, and then we'll wrap up on Nash.
Yeah,
I think we have to understand standings wise, this is going to be a weird as shit season. The parity, there's teams playing like off. One team will have 2 nights off, and they're playing a team that's playing their third game in 4 nights. Like it's like they're playing like every night it seems, and it's just not going to be conducive to I think a lot like great records. I think like the Nets could easily be like a 5 seed.
Yeah, no, they'll probably be a 5 seed. They'll like.
I mean, look, they could definitely do better. At some point, they're going to rip off a ton of games. It's going to happen. And I actually think they have a chance for
they have too much
up.
trouble with young, fast teams that are big. These teams, the teams that beat them are all the same.
We're like small at every position. Like Kyrie's a small point guard. Yeah. Joe is now a 3. He's a small 3.
We're only big at small forward when we play Durant there, and they can't play him there anymore.
So that's like, to me, the dream is getting Claxton back and having lineups where it's either Jordan, Claxton, Durant, or Jordan, Green, and Durant as the 4-5. Yo, and bro,
I pray for that every day.
Come on with Bruce Brown. Like, give the man. Don't be stubborn. The guy is a noticeable difference when he's on the floor defensively.
Oh no. Let me apologize to you publicly about Bruce Brown. I downplayed it because
apologize to Bruce. To Bruce.
You know, Bruce. We at the front office, you know, we like to make sure that we don't improperly slander good players, and you are a good player, sir. You are welcomed into the ring of trust.
He also doesn't miss that floater.
I don't know if I could believe in that floater yet. I got to see more of it, but he plays hard. He plays with energy. The unfortunate thing is because we have Harden, we can't use him as well as we want to. This team has always been a wing defender away from being.
It's unbelievable. Like Marks has obviously done a great job. I mean, there's no denying it. But he's had a blind spot for like guys that are between like 6'8" and 6'10".
He doesn't
that can play power forward.
I think he could pick a good player that does that role. I just don't believe he strategically thinks they're necessary.
Yeah, Greed was a fantastic pickup, though. You got to say. Dude, he's been lights out. He's shooting like 54% from 3.
I listen. He's starting though. That's
that's a problem.
That's not a starting player. Like when he was just kind of just, you know, that's the guy that I want. Like, I think you guys mistake Jared Dudley for that guy. Like, he's that guy. Like, he's perfect. Yeah, okay. A veteran.
Well, look,
he's seen everything.
Jared Dudley was.
He can still run and jump.
That was like lightning in a bottle. He was the perfect fit for that team at the right time.
Nah,
it wasn't his. Like, it was lightning in a bottle.
He hurt that team. And I think that's proven that he hurt that team.
Bullshit. Rewatch those playoff games. Well, let's get to Nash before we get on.
All right, so let's do Nash and roll out. Let me set a platform for you to and I'm gonna just let you go. They did everything right in the hiring of Steve Nash. They put a professional offensive coordinator in D'Antoni. They put a professional defensive coordinator, not just in Jacques Vaughn. I feel like Ime Udoka should be the defensive coordinator. He was a defensive coordinator on a championship team, and I think I see him vocally losing his mind on the sideline, you know, when the defense just looks crazy. And I think before you can judge Nash, because Nash has just been par for the course. He hasn't been great. He hasn't been awful.
Dude,
he's
lost multiple games.
Hear me out on this. I think a rookie coach should not have this awful of a team. This team, when Durant has to sit.
Say it again.
Awful.
Of a team?
Yes.
You think the team is awful?
I think the construction of this team is lopsided.
That's not what you said. Are they an awful team?
Okay, awful is harsh.
Yeah, walk that one back.
awful is harsh. I just don't have a word for it. It's like disappointing.
They're
what do you call that?
It was the perfect word. They're incomplete, which is crazy to say because of the top end talent. So look, Nash. Here's the thing about Nash.
This team is set up to lose.
Like, here's what bothers me about your stance on Nash. This is what bothers me about your stance on Nash. Those things are true. He has a lopsided roster. He has a poor defensive